what we began with as a tool to move us along, we got stuck in because of our Negroism. And the Negroism started making us more African than thou. Who could get more kente cloth plus square inch? Who could get the longest locks? Who can in fact begin to get, if they start off, who can get the biggest afro? Who can in fact speak more languages than nobody understood but them? Who was able to come up with more bizarre and strange rituals that they don't even understand the full significance of while doing them themselves? This became our new criterion. But that ain't nothing but Negro standards. Who can be closer to boss? Who can walk around the plantation looking differently? Who can affect a greater reality? That's the same madness. But this organization grew to define the true essence of our Africanness. It understood not that we came from a continent. It began to identify the unique humanity that was in fact the foundation of civilized life. We restored in our work, in our thinking, in our research, in our deliberations, in our struggles with each other, as we fought against the slave mind that constantly came back to attack the reemergence of the African. We were trying to affirm again our definition as human beings who had their foundation in the place called Africa. So the next stage in the evolution was one of rediscovering our authentic human identity as Africans. The third piece in the evolution was the restoration of our genius in spirit and in humanist. That somehow what we had lost, what we no longer could remember, what we've forgotten, is that we are spirits. It ain't about none of the facades. It ain't about none of the things that we see with the eye. It is about the underlying reality. It is about the energy that underlies all that we see. It was a recognition that somehow we are spirits and have a responsibility to refine the energy on this planet. AB-Psi then became something more than just a colored organization. AB-Psi became something more than just a church. AB-Psi became something more than just a professional gathering. It became a place of healing, not only for those who came here, but for those who we dedicated ourselves to serving. What do you mean? I mean that when Paris comes up here, when Halford's struggling for years against all kinds of opposition, sleeping on floors in the national office, I could go around this room to point out person after person who's done these thankless labors of love. Maisha walks up here. We love this thing. We love this thing. Because this thing is us. When we come here, listen, when we come here, we are not only regenerated, we are remade. We are remade. I am a product of this womb. This womb has made me who I am. It's made Wade Nobles who he is, made Asa Hilliard who he is, made these distinguished people who they are, will make you into something that you would never have imagined you could become. So when people attack this, you're talking about my mama. And I don't play the dozens. You can't talk about my mama because this is what has given me life. And I know by virtue of the fact that it has given me life, that it is capable of restoring life to all of our people. You know what? We got the answers. We got the answers. We must resolve the difficulties in the microcosm, and we will fortify answers for the macrocosm. We must work through what we have. And our resilience, our resurgence, will prove to the world that the African mind cannot be destroyed. But not only, and this is something that I've come in to recognize only very recently, not only are we the vanguard for the restoration of the minds of our people, we are the vanguard for the restoration of humanity. We are the prophetic mission for the restoration of human life on this planet. George Bush is a symptom and a mythological symbol to show you the picture of death. To show you what happens when materialistic consciousness erodes and manifests the absence of moral consciousness. What happened on 9/11 was a symbolic manifestation of the death of an old system, showing its vulnerability to spirit and morals. Now, I know you're accustomed to think about the demonic thing. I'm not interested in the politics. What was demonstrated is that the forces of nuclear power in the most powerful nation in the world, the forces of technological power in the single most powerful nation in the world, could not stand up to the confrontation of sincere will and determination. They couldn't stop it. People came with no bomb, no gun, no military, didn't even have their own planes, had to borrow somebody else's plane. And it was nothing more than a spirit of understanding, being spirits, to understand that the spirit can stand. And what is the illusion of death is just that. It's an illusion. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go to my God to be free. Now, you spies from the FBI, Rumsfeld's soldiers, I am not suggesting for a minute that the event of 9/11 was something I applaud. I don't. Not in terms of the loss of life and all that goes into that. But I must understand that what's happening now is a spiritual drama. It's all a spiritual drama. And this is the showdown. And the showdown is intended to teach moral and spiritual lessons. And we must understand that we should not be deceived by the effort to keep our spiritual vision closed. We must see it for what it is. Finally, I want to suggest to you that A.B. Side then will and must become the crucible for all the problems faced by African people on this planet. Poverty, AIDS, again, an ultimate spiritual attack against the physical realities of who we are. It's genocidal intent. We don't know where it's coming from, but we know it is a highly sophisticated weapon. We are given various types of illusions about the source of the disease. We're given illusions about superficial ways of resolving it. But we must understand that there are things that we must appreciate about how we must draw upon our own entities, our own powers to find healing. We heard from the traditional healers this morning. Yes, they have herbal treatments. Yes, they have certain kinds of roots. They have certain kinds of natural things. But they are engaged in using those things within a spiritual context. And it is the spirit and the chemistry and the psyche working together that's bringing healing. The other thing that makes their cures unacceptable is that the profit margin is too low. You may not believe it, but this nation will not permit drugs to be used that reduce the profit margins of Merck and the other pharmaceutical companies. They will not let them in. They know about this work in Ghana, in Senegal. They know about the work in Kenya. They know that there are people who have come up with ways to deal with healing and curing AIDS on a wide basis. They know that. But they will not let it in until they can find a way to ensure that they get the profit off the top. If you believe I'm lying, wait and see. It's coming. And they have no concerns about wiping out millions of people until they can make the profit that they desire. But this is the showdown, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just a matter of like enduring and fostering and working and doing the things I've heard in these workshops. We must do the daily battle, but with the conviction that we will have the victory. Education, poverty, all of the problems we face on this planet, the relationship problems, the fact that we have lost the nucleus of power in our relationships. When black mothers start abusing children, we sick. When black men begin to see black women as being their worst enemy, we sick. When black women have given up on so-called hopeless black men, we sick. When we have lost the recognition that the buffer that brought us across, the boat that took us, sustained us, was this incredible power of African love. Oh, those mothers who love those babies. Those men who struggle against utter helplessness to protect those families. The connection between generations that tied us together, that even in the face of the most devastating obstacles, we held on to hope and possibility. But I want you to understand that that too is a part of the test. That's why we have lost the power of love in ABC. The last 2 or 3 years, we've been ravaged by the same kind of abuse that we see in our communities all over this country. The kind of disrespect for each other. The kind of pious, holier-than-thou stuff. The kind of arrogant intrusiveness. We have lost the use of the power that we had. Power that taught us that love was the thing that let us deal with impossible obstacles. Listen, you think ABC is broke for the first time? Do you believe that for the first time in 30 years, ABC ain't got much money in the bank? Well, you don't know history, fool. We've been broke ever since we've been here. But we've been able to continue year after year after year after year with impossible odds. Go to Jamaica, go to Africa, broke. Have a building in D.C., broke. Keep the lights on, broke. Eat big banquet dinners, broke. Get all kinds of African garb to come and march around America, broke. We've been able to somehow keep on doing this, broke. Broke ain't new. What's new is that you've lost love. You don't love each other anymore. And I challenge you, let's put the love back. Let's put the faith back. And believe me, whether you participate or not, it will be done. It will be done. There is no, for those of you who have, epistemological and empirical ways of trying to deduce the logical possibilities based upon the congruence of certain type of syllogistic resources that begin to converge to bring about certain kinds of outcomes, and with your behavioristic background believing that certain contingencies of reinforcement will make it possible for certain behaviors to be more likely to occur based upon the reinforcement of those behavioral entities. If you believe that that's what makes this thing stand, then you're right. It's dead because you dead. But if you know what really holds this thing up, those invisible pillars, that power of ancestors that some of you condemn, that power of a God that doesn't come in nobody's skin color, that power of spiritual entities that move among us every minute of the day, those are the forces that makes this thing work. And we must understand that we have got the victory. I want to suggest something. Let's make the year 2003 the year we put out a call in the world. Come home to A.B. side. Homecoming. 2003. Homecoming. Nolens, Louisiana, next August. The black psychologists of this planet will be coming home. Go to APA. Grab them in the back of their collars. Drag them out. Go on these remote corners of where they are pretending that they are already white. And remind them that not a damn one of them would have gotten a PhD if the black psychologists hadn't kicked the damn doors open and say, let us in and get the hell out. Remind them of that. Young people, young psychologists, the ones who don't have the memory because you were babies. Those PhD programs that they convinced you that we let you in because you're really very exceptional, you're an outstanding Negro, and you've in fact been able to demonstrate in passing your prelims and all of your comprehensive examinations that you have exceptional abilities, and we really are going to confer upon you our highest degrees because we think you're a good colored people. They didn't do it because they loved you. We, this organization, confronted them and said, you won't have an organization unless more of our students get the opportunity to serve our people. That's how you got the degree. Now, those of you who are here have some hint of that, and you're here to find out more, and you better not leave and not come back. But you have a responsibility, is to go get your other classmates who don't mean any harm. They're just stupid. Nobody told them. They don't know who their daddy is. They are bastards in their ignorance. They don't have, listen, not talking about the physiology now. I'm talking about intellectually. They are bastards because they have been spawned, fertilized by an alien seed. They don't know who the seed is. And they must understand that our seed is the seed that gave them birth. Where is the home for black psychology? It is in the Association of Black Psychologists. We can bring back our children. We can bring back our elders. Even the ones who've gotten a little scared out there. Even the ones who didn't have enough African outfits and think we didn't like them. Even the ones who got them a white wife or two. You can bring the white wife, just leave her outside doing some of the sessions. And we want you back. We want you back. We understand why you had to do that. I need to shut up. Okay. Look, we are the ones who understand black insanity. We know what it means to be black and crazy. We know why you're in the state you're in. We know why you had to do that. Don't be ashamed. Come here and let the healers heal you. Homecoming, A.B. side, 2003. Homecoming, A.B. side, 2003. Homecoming, A.B. side, 2003. Homecoming, A.B. side, 2003. It's getting hot now.